Well, good morning and welcome to virtual Mass here at St. Jude Catholic Church. This is my first time doing this. I tried last week and it did not work out. That said, it is going to be a learning experience for you all and for me. For example, I just realized that I believe I placed my homily over here to my right immediately before we began Mass. So I'm going to simply walk out of camera for a moment, and I will be right back to deliver the homily. So please, in your patience, give me one moment. Well, I see that there are about 100 families that are live streaming this Mass right now. So I'd like to say welcome. Although it is not the same, it is much better that we are able to celebrate this virtually than not at all. I want to say, to begin this homily, thank you, a giant thank you to three individuals that serve on our technology committee. I want to thank Mr. Randy Dick, Bill Homa, and Mark Weed. Especially all three of these individuals, but Mr. Randy Dick, back in December, came to me because we needed a camera, which you're watching right now, installed because this year the confirmations were combined with the younger grades and the older. As you might remember, Bishop Kimmy has changed the age of confirmation in our diocese, and so we knew that we couldn't fit all the confirmandi, all of their sponsors, and all their families. So we ordered a camera, and Mr. Dick installed it for us, and he came to me and he said, "Father, here are two options. On the left, this is a very affordable option, and it will do the job that we need it to do. On the right," he said, "this camera over here is about 5 times as expensive, but the good news about this camera is that it is made for and set up to live stream." So he said, "We can live stream Mass if we order this one." He said, "It's completely up to you." And I looked at both options and I thought, we're Catholic. We don't live stream Mass. If someone's sick and they can't make it, they're welcome to watch Mass on EWTN, but there's absolutely no need for a camera with live streaming capabilities. How wrong was I? Here we are, less than 3 months later, and these three individuals have spent hours on hours working to make a camera that was not made to live stream to where we can live stream. So thank you very much for all three of you for overcoming challenge after challenge. And what's amazing is they did so with spending no parish resources, understanding that right now, this is not the time for us to be spending money. This is a prime example of stewardship. This is their talent. This is their skill set. And they saw a need, and they saw this was a time where they could really step up, and they completely did so. So thank you to all three of you. I also want to thank the Chancery downtown from the diocese. They recently had a meeting where they called in all the priests. And, let me rephrase that. That sounds bad. They called in. No, there are too many priests. We can't gather like that right now. So we had a virtual meeting using Zoom. And they explained to us that they understand that for many parishes, there are going to be financial challenges in the weeks and months ahead. Other parishes might be financially secure. And they said they are going to make sure to help us to meet our obligations, to pay our bills, to pay for the lights and the insurance and everything that we have to do. That said, the help that they're going to provide is going to be in the forms of loans. And so I think it's important that we as St. Jude parishioners understand that we don't want to be in debt, that we want to avoid debt as much as possible. So we need to do what we can to financially support our church. But some people, some families, are really struggling right now. There are families where some of you, maybe your spouse or yourself, might have been laid off, or furloughed or given reduced hours. And if that's the case, I understand if you can't meet the pledge that you made back in October and November. But I ask you, in your goodness, please do what you can. In the same way, there are some individuals that maybe can step up and do more than they have pledged. If that's the situation, please, I invite you to do so. The diocese has also created an online giving portal, e-giving, which is something that we as a parish have been looking into, but we haven't had time to set up yet. And so I'm very grateful that the Chancery has this set up. So the e-giving website is give.catholicdioceseofwichita.org. give.catholicdioceseofwichita.org. Now, understand me. This is not going to be a financial homily. I'm simply starting off touching upon something that is very critically important, because since I've been here for over 9 months, I believe, I've only given one homily that was dedicated at finances. And the parish immediately stepped up, and there's been no need. That said, we're in a little bit of challenging times. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. How quickly has life changed? Someone told me this the other day, and it just connected with me. They said, Father, 1 month ago, would you have thought it possible that people needed to confess that they have been hoarding toilet paper? A month ago, I didn't think that was possible. But the world has changed. And in this changing world, it's changing so quickly that the decisions that I make yesterday might not be relevant tomorrow. They might not even be relevant today. For example, last week, we were putting together the bulletin, and we finished it, and Jan sent it off to the publishing house, and later that very day, directives came back that made the letter that I put in the bulletin completely unnecessary, completely wrong. Because in the bulletin, I had put that we're doing adoration from noon to 1. I had put this is the way that we're going to be celebrating Mass, and these are the new regulations. And within hours, Mass had been suspended. Life is changing. And life does change, because life is a journey. And like a journey, there are highs and there are lows. There are good times and there are bad. There are times where we are comfortable and times where we are going through hardships. And that's just life. And right now we're going through one of those valley periods. But there will be the other side. It will happen. We'll come out of this. We don't know exactly when it's going to be. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But we recognize every year when we celebrate Lent, there is an Easter. In much the same way, when we come out of this, we will be so excited. And I am excited about the opportunity. Because today, this is weird. And I'm going to probably screw up Mass a couple times today. And that's just the fact that we're adapting as best we can. But it's strange. It's Sunday morning. I'm celebrating the 8:30 Mass, and there's no one here. I don't see the RCIA candidates and catechumens. I don't see the families that I expect to see. I don't see the kids getting up, going to the bathroom seemingly 3-4 times an hour. It is weird. But we will get through it. Right now is one of those difficult times. Right now is one of those times that we might feel like we are suffering, and we are, emotionally and spiritually. And many, many people throughout the world are also suffering physically, and we need to pray for them. But our question is, what do we do in response to our suffering? Does it bring us closer, or does it make us more distant to God? And the answer to that might be, what was your reaction when you found out that you had been dispensed from the obligation of attending Holy Mass on Sundays? Was it, yay, I get to sleep in. I don't have to go to Mass anymore. Or was it, that stinks. I miss being able to celebrate my faith and attending Mass with my parish family and receiving the Holy Eucharist. I'll tell you the honest truth. I've gotten a few phone calls in the past 2 weeks from individuals, and they've said, I'm upset that I can't attend Mass. I say, yeah, I get that. I'm upset about that also. And they say, no, Father, let me finish. It's strange because I'm Catholic, but I haven't been to Mass in years. And I say, well, if you haven't been to Mass in years, why are you upset that you can't go to Mass right now? And they say, I don't know, but it's the strangest of things. When Mass was available and easy for me to go to, I didn't take advantage of it. But now that Mass is not available, now's the time I'm upset that I can't participate and receive Holy Communion. And I think the answer to that is crisis brings clarity to what's truly important in our life, and that is our relationship with God. Now, that said, I've seen a lot of people try and spin positives out of what we're going through, saying, well, we're spending more time with our family. It's an opportunity to grow in those relationships. It's an opportunity to read those books that we said we want to read, to finish those projects, to clean our houses, to spend time with our neighbors. All that's true, of course. And I've heard people say, well, this is God's providence. Absolutely. But we need to understand this. Yes, God's providence does include tragedies. By saying God's providence, we're saying God allows this to happen, that He can bring about unimaginable good even out of the most challenging and difficult of situations. But what we have to understand is when we say God's providence does include tragedies, it does not change the fact that they are tragedies. It does not change them into comedies. They're still difficult. They still take a lot of patience. They still take a lot of prayer on our part, because we are called to embrace our cross just like Christ embraced His. And in doing so, I truly believe we will grow in spiritual wisdom and maturity. And in wisdom, again, we understand life is a journey, and it's a journey leading us somewhere. Where is it leading us? It's leading us, God willing, to heaven. And all of us know that we are going to one day die. All of us know our days are finite. And I'm not suggesting that we're going to die. No. I'm simply saying, unfortunately, most of us seem to act as though it's an impossibility that it could possibly happen to us in the near future. Most of us seem to act like all those spring breakers on the beaches in Florida last week. You saw the video just like I did. And by the way, let's be honest, it wasn't only college kids out there. I saw the videos. There were families with young kids on the beaches. There were senior citizens walking hand in hand. And all of those individuals were reckless. All of those individuals said, it can't happen to me. I can't become infected. It couldn't possibly have ill effects on my health. I couldn't possibly transmit it. And I can't help but think, one day when they give an account of their life before God, is God going to say to them, why were you so reckless with your health and with the health of the community? I don't know. What I do know, though, is there will be a time when each of us face our mortality. When God says to us individually, it's your time, come home. And therefore, we need to be prepared for that time by the manner in which we live our life, by our relationships, by the way that we treat our brothers and sisters and our families and our friends and the stranger, by our generosity, most especially our generosity and forgiveness, and by reviving our souls and the sacrament of reconciliation if we find ourselves in this state of grave sin, so that when we are called to meet our Lord, we can do so with a clear conscience. Again, although we cannot celebrate physically the Lord's Supper together at this time, we are one parish family. And one day in the not-too-distant future, we will reconvene together. And I believe that we will see a surge in attendance and participation, because right now we are reminded of what is most important, and that is our faith in and our relationship with Almighty God. My friends, I am praying for you. Please pray for me. And together, let us make sure that we are using this time to grow in that most important relationship. God bless you.